So this week's parsha, we start off with this concept called Shemitah, right? Darber b'nei Yisrael v'mat aleihem ki savo el haaretz asher ani nosein lachem v'shavtza haaretz Shabbos Lashem. Right? What do these words mean? That the land should be shovet Shabbos Lashem. It should be Shabbos for Hashem. Shabbos is for Hashem. Okay? So we see the whole world is mistovev, goes around the concept of 7. Right? Internationally, the world that I know about is in agreement that there's a 7-day week. I actually wanted to check. In China and in Japan, it's also a 7-day week?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, so that's pretty nuts. Okay, so...
Mm-hmm. Is this for everyone now?
It's not mine.
Wait. Okay.
A 7-day week. Why is the world built in 7 days? Okay, now we also have Shemitah. It's in 7-day cycle. 6 years, then the 7th. And it's interesting, by the way, if you want to look a bit, understand a bit of the 7th, the Torah calls Chodesh Tishrei Chodesh HaShvi'i many, many times. Now, what's special about Chodesh HaShvi'i? There's a lot of Yom Tov. Not only is a lot of Yom Tov, it's Yom Tov which expresses a lot of Hashem's intervention in the world with Din and with Kapara, right? Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. If you look at Sukkot, not only as an individual state, a part of the Shalosh Regalim, but part of a process that goes from Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, and ends with Shmini Atzeres, which is an expression of Sukkot. Sukkot has 3 dimensions. It's 2 dimensions. It's not only the process from Rosh Hashanah to Shmini Atzeres, and it's also part of the Shalosh Regalim, right? But in the aspect of it that's part of the process of building up the energy that was Chodesh HaShvi'i, you see a lot about Chodesh HaShvi'i that Hashem is intervening in the world, moving the world forward by having Din and having Kapara of Yom Kippur. Okay? Mm-hmm. So, and it's also Yom Tovim, Pesach is Shvi, right? Sukkot is Shvi. Everything runs around 7 days. Mm-hmm. What's also interesting is that the world, the way Chazal say it in Sanhedrin, like Gemara in Sanhedrin in Parashat Chelek, that the world is going to be for 6,000 years, and the 7th year, the world is Charuv, it goes to Shabbos, and the Tzadikim are Olam Lamala, right? And the world itself goes to a place of rest, which prepares for something beyond that, which is called Elef Hashmini. Okay?
Does that mean the world is going to be destroyed?
It's a good question how it's going to look. I don't know. I'll read you the words in the Gemara, but it sounds very similar to that. And living in the world that we're looking at right now, the environment falling apart and different destructive kochos in the world like AI or before that there were also nuclear power, all these things. It wouldn't be so hard for us to see the world being destroyed.
Economy also.
The economy, right? So now
soon AI is going to put chips in babies' heads.
So anything's possible. Now, here's a very fascinating thing. What is the message Hashem is trying to give us with Shvi? Calling it Shabbos. There's a very, very deep message which is part of Shmira Shabbos that we're supposed to have ingrained in us on a day-to-day level and a year-to-year level. The Ramban says that the day-to-day level is coming to remind us of Sheshus Yemei Bereishis, and the Shvi'is of Shemitah is coming to remind us of the yearly cycle, which comes out to be that the 7th year is going to be the world is stopping, and Hashem is going to be in the world Ein Od Milvado. Each one is supposed to give us a different energy. Days is Brias HaOlam, and years has to do with the yearly cycle of 6,000 years. Okay, and that's why Hashem was so machmir on Shemitah. Because if you don't have a conscious of Shemitah, you have the inability to understand the process of the world. And when you don't experience something, you don't believe in something, you block it. Okay, so now, let's understand what this concept means. Let's understand what the concept means. We interpret the world based on what we see, right? So if you want to think about it, we say Hashamayim Shamayim Lashem Va'arat Nasan Livnei Adam. We're very conscious of things happening over here that don't seemingly involve Hashem. So one way of looking at that would be like people see Teva and they don't necessarily see Hashgacha in Teva. Okay? That's not so hard to get past because Teva is sort of very loud. Like how could this possibly be? One of the places that people most struggle with seeing Hashem in their life is when they have Bechira. Because we all know we have Bechira. And if we have Bechira, that means that we can destroy things. Right? And therefore, the natural way of understanding is Shisha Sumei Bereshis, you set up a world. Now let's see what you produce. Whatever you produce, that's what you're going to get. Let's say you go to work 6 days a week. Whatever you worked hard at, you're going to get payday afterwards. You don't, you screw up, you're not going to get payday. Right? You're not going to get your money. If you produce agriculture for 6 years, right? So whatever you produce, that's what you're going to get the seventh year. If you don't, you're not going to get, right? That's the natural way of we looking at the world. We're very heavily invested in the consciousness of Bechira because it's true. We have a huge impact on the world, and what we do does impact our future in a deep way. The message of Shabbos is that, like Chazal say, that Vasisa kol melachtecha, that you should look at your work ki'ilu it's done on Shabbos. And that's one of the main sources of Oneg Shabbos that we can possibly get.
Wow.
Is not to be involved in all the things that are missing in our life. But it's like, wow, yeah, okay. Look at all the things I accomplished. We're done in a certain sense. Okay? Now there's two ways of experiencing that. One is like, okay, I'm taking a break. I'm going on vacation now. Whatever was done, I'm going to enjoy. Whatever's not done, I'm not thinking about. And that's a very practical application of this halacha. But there's a deeper application of this halacha. Is that if you went to work, you had a boss who ran the company, and you did your 6-day work, and you go home. Why? Because I did my job. The company is not in my control. Whatever the good of the company needs to happen beyond my work, it's not my business. It'll happen because he's the boss, right? He's a good boss. So if you think about Shabbos, the Kedusha of Shabbos comes out of nowhere. Like, Ma Pitom. Ma Pitom is a day where it's like Me'ein Olam Haba. Did you do anything this week which creates Olam Haba? I mean, how'd that jump happen? Comes, Shkia and Pitom, everything is, different. What'd you do? Right? Or Shavuos, you grew for 6 years, Pitom, it's all holy. What happened? It's teaching you something. It's teaching you that within Bechira, within the possibility we have of running the world, that's only one form of reality. The other form of reality is that Hashem is running the world. And He is propelling the world forward to a place of tikkun, regardless of what we do. And it'll come to tikkun. The question is how much we participate, how much we benefit participating, and how much pleasure or pain we go through. But the world is going to tikkun is without a question. The world is going to Shabbos. Okay? After 7 days of creation, boom, there's Shabbos. Hashem rested. Nothing else to do. What do you mean there's nothing else to do? We didn't do it. I'm taking care of it now. I'm the boss. Every week we got to go through that. All the work we put in, we have to know. You do a certain part, but it's going to happen beyond your capabilities because He works, whatever you do, He works behind it. And therefore the possibility of accomplishment is much more magnified. And even when we do things that are messed up, He will fix them. Right? That's the message of Chodesh HaShvi also, that every year, okay, we had this world. You say, okay, look, guys, let's do an inventory. Okay, the world is going this direction. I'm going to come in, make some gzeres over here, bring Yom Kippur, solve these problems. What happens on Yom Kippur? You have Eris, boom. How does that work? If you have Bechira, like I messed up, I'm going to deal with my consequences. You come to me Yom Kippur, you do your Chamisha Inuyim, no more Averis. That's because He's, besides letting us do our thing and create our own reality, He's also interfering. Which is why the world will never be destroyed in a real sense. Right? Similar to what we see in a human body. Hashem created a human body that heals itself. Right? The world is going to tshuva. Right? We see that the Adam Rishon, when he died, El Ofar Tashuv. Right? And the whole parasha of Shvius, it mentions the concept of everybody, ish elachuzaso, everybody goes back, yovel, right? There's a whole process of going back.
It's a self-correcting system.
Exactly. And that's what Shabbos means, from the word shuva also, right? We stopped, okay? You don't have to work anymore. It's done. It's a self-correcting system, like you said. And therefore, that puts a person in a different space, right? It's a place of safety. It's like, yes, I have my role, and I got to do it, and there'll be ramifications if I don't. But you sit there thinking about the world, maybe the apocalypse. Af tikun tevel bal timot, right? He's going to make the world not fall apart. And if the world is, yes, going to fall apart, like we saw before, like the Chazal say, it's only part of a process to go to Elef Hashmini. What really is what Chazal say, when a person has to die, right? Everybody has to die in order to come back to Tchias HaMesim. The world also has to go through that process. It has to go back to its core. So when you go back to its core, the outer trappings of the world, which is all the klipa, all the negative mitos, all of the industry that's bad for the place, all the toxicity of people, that's going to destroy itself, go to death, to be reincarnated.
Wow.
So the message of Shabbos is Lashem, right? Shabbos is for an expression of God, because the rest of the week hides him. It puts us at the forefront, right?
It's not Shabbos for God, like we're not doing him a favor.
No,
It's for God to be expressed.
exactly. And that's what Shemitah is all about. It's like, I worked really hard. Okay, great. So whatever grows, is because what you did. Really? Stop. You're going to see bracha that is for 3 years. Wait, I can't produce that. Right. Because you're not here to only produce. You're here to actualize a relationship that the production of it is way beyond your capabilities. Not only when you work together, even when you work against.
Wow.
Okay? That's the message of Shabbos and Shemitah. And so it's extremely important that we have this. Why does Hashem so machmir on Shabbos? You're cutting yourself off from the world because you're actually blocking the main source of life there is in the world, is that what's beyond your actions is his actions. Right? A person doesn't do Shemitah, we get kicked out of Eretz Yisrael. Because Eretz Yisrael, a process of Geula going towards a certain process, and you're not participating. You're blocking the entire thing. Because the entire thing is Hashem's expression through your actions that will make it go to the end, even no matter what. Right? Okay, so that's why I say that Bahar has to come before Bechukosai. You have to understand the process of Shemitah and Yovel before you deal with the bris of Im Bechukosai Telecho, and if you don't, right? As we see, both times in the Parshios, let's say in Bechukosai, right? In the end of the Bechukosai, so Hashem says all of these things are going to happen, right? Really bad stuff. V'zacharti Yisbrisi Yaakov, V'yafes Brisi Yitzchak, V'yafes Brisi Avram, Ezkar Varetz Ezkar, right? And then, even when you're in other lands, you're stuck with all of the Goyish places, and Lo ma'astim v'ga'alti d'chalosam, nafar brisi itam. I'm still going to have a bris. Ki ani Hashem Elokeichem, v'zacharti es brisi yishonim, asher yotzeis yosem eretz Mitzrayim. Right? What happened to Mitzrayim? Mitzrayim is exactly the same thing. Right? That's why Mitzrayim, Leil Yetzias Mitzrayim is called Shabbos. V'safat lechem mimachras haShabbos. We're supposed to count the Omer, the 7 things of the Omer after Shabbos. Right? Because Yetzias Mitzrayim is the same type of thing. Okay, you guys went Memtesh Shari Tuma. You lost everything that Abba said to you. Time to go out now. Oh, we don't deserve it. So, right? I'll make it. I'll give you Korban Pesach. I'll give you matzah. I'll give you mar, and you're going to deserve it. I mean, we were like little babies, right? Okay, but I'm running the world, right? So there's a Shabbos of Pesach, right? And there's a 7-day process after that, right? Which ends in, again, Kriyas Yamsuf, which is also like the Malachim are saying, listen, these guys over the Avodah Zarah, these guys over the Avodah Zarah, why are these guys going through and these guys not? Well, these guys are mine. Okay, I made a bris with them, and these guys I didn't. Okay, why? Because they're mine, right? Because that's the relationship we have in the world. The world is based on love, which means any father for sure wants to give his child the ability to do bechira, right? That he should earn his own life. But would a father do it in a way that if the kid screws up, that's it, you're going to burn?
Nope,
Yes.
that's why it doesn't make sense.
Right? So that's why he puts in the program, it's like, listen, I'm letting you guys go, have fun, I'll be with you, and when you fall down to the depths of hell, I'm going to take you out.
Depends which father.
Well, that's why one of the biggest problems that people have in understanding God is who their father was.
Right.
Because I always give mashal, would a father do that? And it's like, well, my father would.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a problem.
My father wouldn't.
Your father wouldn't. He wouldn't leave you to...
I wouldn't to my kids, but
Now, why do you think that father didn't do that? Because he had a messed up version of Bechira. And he's like...
No, 'cause he had a messed up. He has a messed up perception of God.
Exactly. Same thing, right? God put us in the world. He's like, go for it. You guys screwed up, your business. None of mine. So then you can't be greater than God. So that's your perception of God. That's how you treat your children, right? And one of the big lessons when you have a bad relationship between father and son, and the kid's like, I don't want to be connected to you. What's supposed to teach the father is what he's missing in his midos of Abba. Because my son is leaving me now, right? Why? Because I'm not being a father. Right? I used to run an emotional workshop called Call of the Shofar, right?
Oh, I have to tell you something.
Call of the Shofar was called. And one of the main, I would say, apex of the whole event, it was like sort of like this. So the apex, the top point, was a place where people were emotionally very raw, and you used a sort of a theatrical experience where people had role playing, and a person would be in a position of, in the role, like as a child or whatever it is, in the relationship that had the most damaging effects on them. So I watched people, have conversations with their father or their mother, whatever it is, not really. And one time I had an event where I had a father and a son. Okay?
The father was speaking to his son.
Yeah, the son was going through his process, and the father was there in the circle.
Oh wow.
Okay? And then, it wasn't as there in the circle, he actually was, they were having a real communication. Right?
You like switch the roles.
I didn't do that. It's a cute idea.
Yeah.
It was actually extremely real time, and the son was talking to the father, right? And it was like,
When?
all I could tell you is looked like tshuva.
When?
Wow.
Where?
Okay? How many years ago was this?
No, where? Like how?
I did it in Beitar. I used to run this emotional workshop.
A what?
I used to run an emotional workshop. It means to say 2.5 days people went away from their houses, and it was just guys, and we did a lot of different processes, different things.
Children?
The youngest guy was there was like 18, 17.
Yes. Like,
But also people were there 50s and 60s, right? It was a very eclectic group. And we did different steps that would get them more in touch with them. We had a very interesting thing called Little Boy's Deepest Needs, right? We had a few things. One was you faced off with somebody, looked in their eyes, and we read this certain thing that was very emotional, arousing about looking at this person, what did this person go through.
Yom Tov Kaiser does this in his program.
Right, he probably took that from there, whatever. So, and
Then
then,
bring that guy or something.
What?
I already tried.
I can get it.
Yeah, it's not hard to get him. It's just he was going to give a shear here. Yom Tov.
Yeah, but for money, you won't do it.
No, he was going to do it for himself. I was offering a place.
Yeah.
He's too busy.
By the way, someone told me a vote on last week's Parsha. It was actually Rabbi Applebaum told me this because of what you said. And this is Rav Kluger that gave us over. So,
Good morning, Alicia.
it says in the Parsha that if a bas Kohen Shazinsa, she goes off to be a prostitute. So it says something about her father. What was it?
Esavia hi mechalelas.
Mechaleles. So the question Rav Kluger asks is, what the heck? She became a Zion and he gets, eh? So it says Rav Kluger, yeah, because why did she become a prostitute? Because of her father. That's crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Very, very clear and positive.
my brother mama swear.
Crazy.
Yeah, I told you. People have daddy issues. They look for men.
Right, that's what he was saying.
Totally clear.
Um,
I have real-time conversations with people about this.
yeah.
Yeah, like clear. If you let them express it emotionally, they will tell it to you black and white. They may not even know about it. When they talk about it and you give them the space to really express it, they'll tell it to you black and white. So, in this emotional workshop, right? So they're talking about something that happened in his history, right? And like you weren't with me in this experience. Like, I used to come to the office, and you were busy learning, and you gave me this, and then I spoke about something, and you gave me a whole drasha. You didn't listen to me, right? And I just felt very distant from you. This kid is talking this. What I really wanted from you is to really be with me, just love me and care about me, right? And you watched how the father shifted. Like things changed in him side of himself because he was able to hear his son's expression of the deepest need that hit him on his lathe, and he changed his whole approach to fatherhood in that circle anyway, right?
Wow.
And you could see how they were rewriting history. It's like, wow, okay, this used to be the relationship between the two of us. Now we're looking at it and saying what should be, what I wish was, and the kid was actually got to a place of like, okay, you got it. Like now I understand. This experience brought us to this understanding between the two of us. I'm calm and good. And you watch the process of tikkun. Like a certain thing wasn't fixed, wasn't good. A relationship, you could see breakage in the relationship. They redid it, and it's like all of those years shifted between the two of them. They had a different definition now. We use these years to repair. It was a real-time experience of tshuva, tikkun, between two people. My point was that parents who don't have tikkun, not mitukan in their relationships with children, the way they figure it out is when their children are upset, to whatever degree that is. And that's supposed to be that way, right? Children are supposed to mechanech parents not by teaching them, but by showing them. Right? That's the things that are generational. You always carry the tikkun of your parents, always, right? So things that your parents didn't fix, you have to fix. So what that helps is, first of all, you have 20/20 hindsight, because you can see how your parents messed up, and it's like, I'm not doing that, right? It's also that the other way is that the child brings up all the things in the parent that they're not mitukan and really hurts them badly. And it's like, okay, we got to fix this. And that's the way it's supposed to be. That's why in the Geula we say, Heishiv lev avos al banim, lev avosem al b'neim. Like it's a very, why it has to do with Geula, that the fathers and sons get along. Right? Because a huge part of Yichud is those relationships that are so deep that we learn about God through father and son consistently. When we're not good, we have goals. When they're good, we have geula. In my opinion, this is one of the main reasons why there's a tnuah of Yotzim B'Sheila, is in order for the parents to learn about Yiddishkeit from their children. Not necessarily because the children's giving it an entire drasha. He's just saying, I don't like this. It's wrong. Okay, so why do we say all this? That if we want to understand Hashem and the midah of Abba, you're going to be influenced by your understanding of your own father. And one of the ways to clean up that relationship, there's many different ways to do it. One of the ways, depends, I've seen people do this, is to go to Hashem, realize what Hashem is, and then that heals you because you know that it's like you really had a father. So all the brokenness that a person has by having a negative relationship with their father, when you replace your father with a higher father, it heals that part of you. And then you're able to deal with your father, and just, I'm not speaking about any person's father, you're able to be like your father in a way of like, okay, he's not mitukan, but it doesn't hit me like this is the way it's supposed to be and I feel bad. It's not supposed to be that way. It should be better, and he has his issues. But it's because you're the context of father from somewhere else.
So you're saying if your relationship with Hashem is messed up, that's because your relationship with your father is messed up. Is that what you're saying? I'm
saying that all of the relationships we have in the world are supposed to teach you midos, a relation to Hashem. So therefore, you're at an impediment if you had a negative expression of midos in your life. whether it's husband and wife, father and son, son and father, brothers, sisters, friends, you're always going to be impeded by that being not mitukan in your relationship with Hashem, by definition. And you need to do work either one direction or another. Either you need to fix those relationships, or you need to access Hashem the way it is, and then go back and fix those relationships. There's two ways to do it. Min lamal lamata, min lamal lamata. Mata lamala, just two different people. Some people are very spiritually oriented. Like I know a person who grew up incredible abuse. Incredible, the worst. Parents were neglectful, horrible, terrible, the worst abuse I've ever heard in my life. Okay? But this person was deeply spiritual and knew Hashem was. So actually their version of love is more mitukan than the people who had good parents. Because this person knows Hashem for real. And these are jerks. These people are human beings. They screwed up. But Hashem, he didn't.
But he screwed up by giving his parents like that, in a way.
So because this person recognized Hashem so much in her life, right? In the rest of the world, she was able to understand. I don't understand what this is, but it doesn't mean you don't love me.
It's not specifically that Hashem messed up for giving her parents. Like she was strong enough to deal with it. Like,
The way she was able to have that,
if you believe like things are for the greater good, then ultimately everybody gets the challenges that they can handle.
the way she was able to handle that is because she had nisim ployim consistently but keeping her alive. It was like, I'm with you. We're going through this together. We need to go through this, but I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
The analogy you gave about the worker,
Mm-hmm.
if you work, you get paid. If you don't work, you don't get paid. Okay, that's great. I can understand that. But if it sounds like when Hashem in this week's parasha is talking about punishments, it sounds like it's like not just if you don't work, you don't get paid. If you don't work, I'll cut your head off and your kids' heads off.
Okay, so when we
It's
learn
different. It's like
tomorrow, we're going to open up Parshas Bechukosai. We're going to read it inside, what the words say. Then you're going to test your mitos to see if you're listening or you're talking. Okay, and then we'll see what the psukim mean.
What do you mean by you're listening or you're talking?
If someone's talking to you, and you have all kinds of inner voices going on inside of yourself, you're not listening, you're talking. So everything they say has come through a filter. So a lot of times we don't listen to the Torah, we tell the Torah what it's saying, and then get all upset.
I would like to be here for that class. Can you do like a live hookup?
Tomorrow morning?
Yeah,
Come here.
I'm not gonna be here.
Tomorrow morning is Monday.
Yeah.
Oh.
Tomorrow I'm out all day.
Oh, okay.
And Tuesday I'm also not gonna be here in class.
Bezrat Hashem, we can try to hook up a Zoom. I mean,
Hey, are you going to this level performance?
you're the Zoom guy, so I'll figure it out for you.
I can set up like at 6 a.m. before I go.
Right.
Keep it running.